I'm feeling very exposed. Hey, hello and welcome back. This week I thought it'd be fun and slightly humbling to go through all of my Ravelry knitting queue to just expose how many things I want to get done this year. It's definitely going to be a little bit chattier of a video, little chiller. It's probably very long. Sorry. Or not sorry. I think a lot of you like a long video. I like a long video. So it's probably going to be a little chattier, but yeah, I have 21 things in my queue in addition to a few current projects. And I thought that it would just be fun. Doesn't feel like the right word. Honest to go through all of these things, which, like, in my head, I can get all of these 21 projects plus my existing whips done by the end of the year. So I just wanted to show you how delusional I am. Maybe make you feel better, maybe make myself feel better if you all are also as delusional. So with all that being said, let's just talk about it. So first of all, I will start with my existing whips so that we can just like level set of where I currently am with what I'm working on. So I have 4 existing whips. They're in different statuses of like being worked on, but technically 4. So you know what? I'm actually going to go in level of like seniority, of like how long they've been around. So the first thing, you probably haven't seen this in a year. If you watch regularly, you might remember this. It's actually a crochet whip, which is why I haven't worked on it. Oh my gosh, what a cute stitch marker. I haven't worked on this in a year, and look at this. Look at this cute little beat stitch marker. Okay, I'm definitely taking this off of this. But yeah, this is a crochet whip. So I've been working slowly on these hexagon granny square type things. I have 3 done, and they will turn into a purse at some point. Yeah, this is the purse they'll turn into. So I do actually really want to finish this. I think that it would be really cute and fun to have, and it's like actually really fun to work on the granny squares. I'm so slow at them though, and I think, did I do this one wrong? No. But I'm very slow at them. So I have 3 and then I've stopped working on it. And so I'll have to do, I think the pattern has 7. So I'm almost halfway there maybe. But crochet takes me a really long time because I'm not very good at it. So I've kind of just keep setting it aside because I don't want to be bad at something, and it does take a lot of focus. But if I have like an evening, I'm gonna leave this out so that next time I have like some free time and don't feel like knitting, which is almost never, but sometimes, I can crochet. So that's the first whip that in my head, like, yeah, I can finish that in like 2 days if I focused. Am I gonna focus on it? Probably not. So it's probably gonna be there for a while. But yeah, that's the first one. And I'm reclaiming this beat stitch marker because it's so cute. Okay. And then the next whip, which has been on the needles longest, is my triangulum blanket, which I showed off in my last podcast as having made quite a bit of progress. So I'd showed this in my last podcast where I showed the hexagon. So I have 7 of these done. But then I was looking at the yarn and realizing like, oh, I feel like I'm using a lot of yarn, and that like I'm not going to have enough to make the quilt squares I want, or they're not squares, but like the quilt motifs I want with how much yarn I'm using per triangle. And so I weighed it and I was right. And so then I did some math and realized like, oh yeah, okay, I actually need to change my stitch counts so that I can get the amount of triangles out that I want. So I'm making smaller triangles now, and I'll make more of them. So I've changed to this size of triangle versus, this size. So quite a bit smaller, so that I can actually I'm using only scrap yarn. So I want to be really cognizant of how much yarn I'm using, and this takes like 3 grams of yarn versus these take closer to like 5. And so I need to use this one, make these ones, and so I need to actually frog all of this. So this blanket is going to be long term. I'm okay with it not being done this year, but I would like to continue to work on it and make some significant progress this year because it is like fun to work on and it'll be something that's really fun to have. So, is on the needles, is slowly being worked on, is probably going to take forever, especially like with the size. But each quilt star now should be a foot about across in each way. And then I want a blanket that's like probably 4 by 6 feet. And so I need 24 quilt stars. So it's going to take a while. But hey, you know what? At least everyone's smaller now. So they work up quicker. But yeah, I need more of them. So this is on the needles. Not really getting worked on again, but it is on the needles. And yeah, I really want it done. I really want to have it, but it's like a project that's not very fun to work on. Like it's very fiddly with the DPNs. Maybe I need to buy shorter DPNs because I have really long ones that I feel like get in the way a lot. So I don't know. Maybe I'll get some nice short wooden ones because they're also like not a nice metal. I love my Chiagu. They're like a hollow metal that I got at like Joann's when I first started knitting. So yeah, maybe that would also help me work on it more if I got like wood DPNs that are small. So I don't know. There's a lot going on in that whip that makes me not want to work on it that much. That's okay. It's in the background, but it still takes time. It still takes time away from other things when I work on it. So we need to be aware of that. And then my next whip, you all have seen, and I recently talked about in my spring knitting plan, so we won't talk about it that much, but I did move it into a different project bag. And it is this sweater, which is about halfway done. I still have to do the sleeves and finish the body, but it's honestly not that far from being done. And this is a design I've been working on, and this is with my 2024 Advent from Zakami Yarns. It's their organic merino DK base, which is a really nice base. And this is Blue Sky Fibers wool stock worsted in midnight blue or something like that. I don't know. And it's kind of a fade. It's kind of like a little bit of a fade. It's a little stripier than I'd ideally want, but yeah, kind of this fade. And I will be picking this back up soon, and in my head I can finish it in like a week. Is that true? I don't really know. I have 2 sleeves to do and a body, but it is DK weight, so this is worked on a US 7. So maybe it's realistic because it's just in the round DK weight. Like maybe it's a week. Not really sure, but I need to get back to working on this. And yeah, it'll take me between a week and 2 weeks probably. So those are my whips that have been like kind of languishing. And then I have my current whip, which in my head I'm gonna have done in like 2 weeks. So we'll see. I mean, I'm working on it quite furiously, so maybe. But this is my current whip that is taking up a lot of time and has been planned for a really long time, and so I'm really glad to have it. But this is another design I'm working on. I'm calling it the Spilled Soup Sweater, probably for obvious reasons. This yarn is called Soup. The yarn, the main color is Flour Sack. This color is Soup. Flour Sack was gifted to me by Salty Blonde Fine Fibers. Both yarns are Salty Blonde's Dolce fingering base, but she did give me the Flour Sack. I bought the Soup back in October. And yeah, it's a beautiful, fun sweater. It's a circular yoke color work with soup ingredients, hence Spilled Soup Sweater. And it's kind of like cascading down. I don't know. I thought it was fun. But yeah, I'm kind of furiously working on this. And in my head, yeah, I can have it done in 2 weeks. Can I? I don't know, man. I'm trying to do 15 rows a day on it. which doesn't seem like that many rows, but each row takes me between 15 and 20 minutes because it's fingering weight. I'm on the part of the yoke. I'm still increasing, so it's going to get worse. Or not worse, but like slower and slower. But I'm on the part of the yoke where there are just so many stitches. So I have like probably at this point 300 or 400 stitches on the needle, and it's color work, and I'm catching floats and all of that. So it takes a long time to work on, but in my head, like, I can finish the color work by Tuesday. It's Sunday right now. I have like 45 rows of color work left. So I'm like, I can do that by Tuesday. And then, like, yeah, it's just body and sleeve, and that goes so quick. So in my head, I'm like, it can be done so soon. Do you see my problem here? Do you see how I just like make a plan in my head that's not really realistic and then just stress myself out over trying to meet a deadline that like is up here and is not backed by reality? So in my head though, this will be done in like maybe 2 weeks, if not quicker. I don't know. Why do I do this? Like, there's no reason to have a deadline on that, but I set one anyways. Why am I like this? I don't know, but I guess it's how I find joy in knitting. Okay, now we're actually onto the Ravelry queue. So these are things that I'm actually planning on casting on very soon. Okay, so I decided let's just record the screen of my Ravelry queue so we can talk through it real time. I do have my computer right here, and I'll show you yarn as we go too. But so as you can see, let's just scroll down to the bottom so we can see the total number. 21 things in here. Maybe during this video we remove one or two. That could be awesome if I like let go of a few things to work on. We'll see if that happens. But I do have a lot of ideas on here, and some of my plans are actually not even on my queue, so it's probably closer to like 24 things, or like 22, 23. But let's talk about it. So actually the first thing, I have been debating making a doppio sweater. I never know. People pronounce it differently. I know it's a coffee drink, so is it doppio or doppio? I don't know. I'm going to call it a doppio sweater, but I have been debating making this for months. I work at Explore Knits and Fibers, and Explore Knits is actually doing a knit along of the doppio right now. So a lot of my coworkers are making doppios, and I thought at the time, like when I first started, you can join the knit along too. It's like a global, open to everyone. It's not just like EKF staff doing it. So you're also welcome to join it. There's a Discord, and you can just post. I'll try to remember the hashtag and put it down below. So you can also join the doppio knit along. But yeah, I was debating doing it for a long time to get to work on something with my coworkers and other EKF community members. And then at the time felt like I had too much on the needles and it would be overwhelming. And then I am teaching one of my really good friends to knit, and she is ready to knit her first sweater. And I decided the doppio would be a good first sweater. I mean, it says on the pattern, an adventurous beginner can do this. And she is, yeah, advanced/adventurous beginner with a can-do mindset. She is an adventurous beginner, and she has me. And I want to help her a lot. Like, we have weekly dinners. I'm always around, always happy to help with questions. So I feel like she will be okay because I'm there. But then I was thinking like, okay, wait, maybe I should also make one so that I can show her the steps on my own version. And then also we have matching sweaters, which would be fun. And then we were talking to another one of my friends who knits, and we were like, you should also make it. So now the three of us are doing a little mini doppio knit along, and then I can kind of join the Explorer Knits one as well. But I'm mostly making it to make it with a friend and like two friends. So I'm really excited to make it. At work, I love working at a yarn dyer. Sometimes it's not the best for my wallet, as was the case here, but at work the other day, I was like, okay, I actually do really want to make a doppio. Let me just like go through our L&T room, which is yarn that it's leave no trace yarn, and so it's yarn that wasn't dyed the way we wanted it to, that we can't sell as like a perfect skein, but that we can sell as discounted yarn, because it has like something weird with the dye color didn't turn out the way that we wanted. There's like speckles that we don't want, something like that happened to it. It's still like really high quality yarn, it's just like not what we were going for. And so I was going through that room to be like, maybe let's build myself a doppio. And I built my friend a doppio as well, who's joining with us. And so I found some colors, and I rationalized because I had some leftover Surrey. And so I found these two colors at Explorer Knits. They're both, I know that this is a version of Gaudi, which is a colorway from the Spain collection. I don't even really know what was wrong with it. It's a beautiful color, but was not up to our standards. And so I got to have it. Well, I paid for it, but I could take it. And then also this colorway, which I think is in Bloom. And I think that it had like too many big patches of this hot pink color. So I was able to take them. I got two of each of these. This is Denali sock base, and this is the cashmere base. And so two of each of these. And then I justified this in my head because I also had Surrey at home. And I didn't have quite enough leftover Surrey from this project I did. This is Poppy and Spruce Fibers Dandelion Surrey in the colorway Fuzzy Blanket. I made a blouse #1 light. I think that's patterned by My Favorite Things Knitwear a year and a half ago or something out of it. And I had this much left, and it's almost enough for the doppio. And then I thought like, well, I'm already marling a bunch of colors. I'm holding all three of these together at the same time. And I thought like, well, I'm already marling enough colors, so why don't I just like find a similar-ish Surrey? It's not similar at all, but like a similar-ish Surrey, and I'll just kind of like stripe it in and like try to just blend it in as much as I can. And so I also have this Surrey, which is just a tiny little nugget from Paisley Knits. This is the colorway State of Grace. It's actually left over from a sample knit. And so I'm gonna like kind of mix this in too. It was like the kind of only cool tone Surrey I had. I have like some dark green Surrey and a really bright purple Surrey, but I thought that this would maybe mix in the best. So I'm just gonna, you know, mix in these colors and then marl it together, and it's going to be really fun to work on, and to be able to knit a project with a friend is so special. And this is definitely going to be just a long-term whip because I'm trying to go at my friend's pace, and she's a beginner knitter and she has other hobbies and a life unlike me. So I also was like, oh well, I'll cast on something new, but it's like I'm barely gonna work on it, you know, like I'm just slowly chugging away on it. And so I am gonna cast it on tomorrow, actually. We're casting on together. Well, we're gonna swatch tomorrow. I'll probably cast it on next week, but I'm doing that tomorrow. But then it's gonna be a very long-term project. So that's the first thing on the queue. Next thing on the queue is a sample knit. So I don't have the yarn for this yet, nor could I show you anyways. I'm sample knitting for Paisley Knits and Fibers. I'm sample knitting this for her. This is the Sylvie sweater, which is a really pretty piece. I'm really excited to have a textured piece, and I'm really excited that it is Aran weight. I think it's yeah, like Aran or bulky weight, because it's an Aran held with mohair, so it's gonna be fun. And I think she's sending me a bulky-ish yarn to work on it with, so it's gonna be really fun to work on. It'll be like really rewarding after I've been working on a lot of small needle projects. So I'm excited for this, and it's a really beautiful pattern. So yeah, I'm gonna work on that next. As soon as I get the yarn, I'll start working on this for Paisley Knits. And so this is like a must. It has to happen in the queue. I've accepted a sample knit. I have a deadline for it. I have to do it. My next project is also a sample knit. So I am sample knitting as well, the Porch Light Socks by Lindsay Fowler. These are in the 52 Weeks of Sock book. I'm working with Apothecary Fiber Co., Courtney, to sample knit these for her. She has a upcoming collection that is like inspired by unicorn tapestries that there's a lot of them that have been made. I think it's normally medieval art, so it's gonna be like a really fun whip. I'm excited for it. So I'll make these. These won't take too long. I know I can make a pair of socks in about a week, so I'm excited about that as well, and can definitely work on these. And I need to. This is also a obligated knit that I will be working on. I have to. My next project, you guys can't even see. I have a full bin of yarn next to me just to like walk you through stuff as we go on. So I will put it here so we can start grabbing stuff from it. My next project that I'm planning on is this gingham pouch. You can see I own it. It's in my library. This was one of my spring knitting plans, so I won't do too much about this, but I'm going to use these two colors, which are also from Salty Blonde. She also sent me these when she sent me the yarn for the Spilled Soup sweater, just in case I wanted to add some different contrast colors in, which was so nice. So this is the colorway Truffle, and this is Chartreuse with Envy. So I'm going to work my pouch in these to have like garden colors for my little gingham pouch. It's going to be really fun. We don't need to go too much into it, but essentially I want to have a little harvest pouch because I have a little garden for the first time with like tomatoes and peppers and cucumbers and carrots and beets and strawberries and raspberries and blackberries. That feels like a lot, and then some herbs. And so I want to be able to harvest some stuff in a cute little pouch. And so I want to make a gingham pouch to have garden harvests in. So that is the goal here. And yeah, I talked about this so recently, so we won't do too much of it, but that's next. And then these socks have been in my queue. You can see, let's out myself. I queued these in August of 2024. And I wanted to make them in August of 2024 because I've had the yarn for them since August of 2023, but have not made them. And so I have all of the yarn in this little bag. They're such a cute sock. I want to make them, and then I just keep not. They're from the Summerlee Sock Project book, and they're so cute. And I have so like in 2023, Noah got me a summer yarn advent, which was so fun and sweet, and it was a Summer at the Shack advent, which it was inspired by the show Gravity Falls, which honestly I might want to rewatch. Maybe I'll rewatch that show soon. It's like such a comfort show of mine. I really, really love that show. The advent was by the Scranton Stitcher. And so this was like 13, 14 colors. And so had like 13, 14 Gravity Falls inspired colors. So I have like Pine Tree, It Works for Pigs, The Journal. I'm not going to tell you all the names, and I'm not going to tell you every reference, but they all, Dreamscape, they all reference different aspects. Stano War, they all reference different aspects of Gravity Falls and are just so sweet and special. And it was so fun to also open this with Noah because we watched Gravity Falls together, and so I'd open it every day and then show him, and he tried to guess what each one was inspired by. Which was so fun. This one's called Shooting Star, which is inspired by Mabel, one of the main characters, and it's so fun. So I want to make the Sunny Side Up socks with these, where each flower is a different color on the socks, and then this is my main color in the background, which is just a black and white speckled. It's called Allergic to Color, and it was new to me. I don't know who this one's by. I'm sorry. It was a new to me dyer when I bought it, and Tippy Tree Yarns Super Sock, and the colorway is Allergic to Color. So this is gonna be my background. These are my contrast colors. It's gonna be a lot of ends to weave in, but it's gonna be so fun and cute. So I do still really want to make this. Just don't know when. Here's the thing. All of these are like such high priority makes in my head, and then I don't make them because they're all high priority. And so how am I supposed to make them all? I don't know. But whenever I'm craving some socks, I will work on these. Normally in the summer, I kind of do a lot of socks because they're way easier to transport. They're not like sitting. I'm not working on them when it's hot out. It's way easier to work on a sock because it's not like a big huge woolly project sitting on me as I'm working. So I will probably, I don't know, in my head I'm gonna do it this summer, but I already made my summer knitting plans, and then I already took 2 sample knits since I made my summer knitting plans. So I'm like, when would I make these? I don't know, but at some point. I mean, in the fall I'm gonna start going to school and taking the bus every day I go to school. And so I will be working on a lot more socks because I will have like 45 minutes on the bus there, 45 minutes on the bus back, twice a week. That gives me 3 hours of dedicated sock knitting time on a bus. So I'm gonna knit these dang socks. I promise. Man, the next thing on my queue is also socks. This is not looking, it's not looking good for me. So I also want to make, oh my gosh, I have yarn falling everywhere. I want to use the sock set. It has been in my stash for a very long time at this point, since Christmas 2023. And it's called Show Bunny. It's by the yarn addict, who's now Little Fabrico. She doesn't carry this base anymore. But the yarn's so pretty, like the purple and orange, and then the little purple to go with it. So pretty. It was actually on my spring knitting plans to potentially use this yarn. I ended up doing another plan instead, but this is on my 2025 bingo card to use this yarn. So I want to do it. And so I want to make the broken rope socks in the fingering weight version with the little gym stripes from the Hello Sailor sock set. So you can see, like, they're so cute. I love broken rib, as we know. And I think the gym sock vibe would be so cute with this set. And the broken rib would look really nice. I love broken rib with any yarn, especially like a variegated yarn. So I just need to do it. I'm gonna do it. These will probably also be a school whip. So I'll just, finish one pair of socks, cast on another throughout the school year so that I can work on them in the bus. So probably won't see this happen till then, but it is cute. Or maybe a flock whip, because I am going to flock in August, and I probably will only bring like a pair of socks to work on while I'm there because it's easier to transport, and then I have more room for yarn that I buy while I'm there. So we'll see. But yes, another whip that I would really like to make. And then I have this whip, which you can see I queued it in September of 2024. I didn't get the yarn for it until March, so it's only been in my stash for that long, so it's not that bad, but I have been planning for this for a while. I have this fun color. This is in my summer knitting plan, so I won't go into it too much, but this is Paisley Knits Yarn Company, the base cloud in the colorway The Archer, and super fun bright pink. And yes, I would really love to make this circular yoke horseshoe cable sweater out of it. I think it would be really fun, and I want to make it in the summer so that by the time winter rolls around, it's done and I can just wear it. So I just want to start working on it. Everything feels so high priority, which is why my queue is 20 things long and why I can't change the order of it or take things out. The next thing I really would love to work on is the Luna Tee. Again, this is in my summer knitting plans, so we don't need to go into it too much, but I have 2 skeins of this colorway. This is Joshua Tree National Park by Explorer Knits. Again, I work there, so I'm around pretty yarn all the time. And this is the Cashmere Caverns base. It's a sock base, so it's fingering weight, 80% superwash, 10% cashmere, and 10% nylon, and it is so soft. And yeah, I love broken rib. Again, I have another broken rib whip on here, or it's not a whip, another broken rib project I'd like to make on here, and it is so pretty. So I do really want to make this to wear to classes and stuff. I feel like it looks really professional, nice. I like the way that she styled it with trousers. So high priority in the fact that I'd like to wear it to class. Probably not on the first day of school though, because I start in August and August here is incredibly hot. So maybe like a September. I need it by September. So it's slightly lower priority because that's a while away before I could like wear it comfortably to class because I'm taking the bus there, but then I have to walk a while. So I don't want to be sweating a ton. So yeah, but still want to make it. I want to make it. Ah! And then I have a design that I'd really like to make. I have multiple versions of this. It's not going to open in a different window, but I have the yarn for it. Again, this was in my summer knitting plans, so we won't talk about it too much, but I want to make a sweater with like different kind of I-cord faux seams on it, and I want to use this color from Explorer Knits. It's in the colorway Linen. I have this in both the Denali sock and Surrey base. I have 3 of each. I just got out one to show you, and then I will make my faux seams out of this, which is Sagrada Familia by Explorer Knits in the colorway, or in the cashmere base again, because this cashmere base is so soft. So that is another summer knitting plan. We don't need to talk about it too much, but it is planned. It's on the plans. And then I don't know, I made a whole vlog about this. You may remember it if you watch regularly, but I dyed this yarn a little while ago. Can it focus? This yarn with a bunch of plants. So I basically put all of the plants on the yarn and then rolled it up while it was wet and then steamed it. And so that the plants, like there were marigolds, there were onion skins, there were chamomile, there were, I don't know what else. There were a lot of different plants, maybe lavandula. I feel like there was lavandula. I don't know, hibiscus, bunch of flowers and other herbal dyes onto the yarn, and it was a sock blank, so it was already pre-knitted. And so did that, rolled it up, dyed it, and then caked it. And so I really want to make the March Colorwork Cuff Club, which is this one. I'm gonna make this out of this yarn, and then I don't know what contrast color yet. I definitely have a yellow I can use that I'll find, and then I don't know, I'm kind of waiting to see what petal color I'll end up using. I have a bunch of potentials in my head, and it's just a question of if they get assigned to another whip. But I think that maybe a cooler purple would be nice because there is some cool purple in this. Like you can see that section. So yeah, you can see that. So I'm kind of on the lookout in my own section, like in my own stash for what color could maybe become that. I do have a lot of purple in my stash, so I think that I can definitely pinch it when I'm ready to cast on these socks again, probably on the bus to school. So got that going for me. And then this is another design that I'm planning. It's a cardigan. I actually have a swatch of it. So I queued this in October of last year. I bought this yarn in October of last year. I swatched for it in October of last year, designed the chart, and then set it down. And so this is the swatch of this beautiful cabled cardigan that I want to make with, you know, these cables. And then this is also cables in the middle, but little like kind of flower things to make just a very, very darling. I love that this twists twice. I feel like it really looks very interlocked. And so I do really want to make this. I think that it's so cute. It's so soft. I used brushed alpaca silk by Drops and in the colorway Marzipan, which is color 40, and then Salty Blonde Fine Fibers, 4-ply fingering, which is 100% merino, in the colorway Marianne, which is inspired by Jane Austen, or which is from her Jane Austen collection. I bought this at a trunk show a while ago, and It's so pretty. These are so pretty together. The swatch is so pretty. I even have buttons already, which are these beautiful little buttons. Oh my gosh. Come on. Yeah, these little buttons which have like flowers stamped on them. So everything is set and beautiful and ready to be worked on. And I just haven't yet, which is fine. But again, kind of a higher priority because it's a design of mine, and I'd like to actually have it so that I can wear it. But I'm just, I'm doing my best. So there we go. That's that one. You can see I also thought maybe I'd do it in spring. I did not. I made the olive cardigan instead, but maybe soon I could do it. I don't know, man. And then my next cute item is the Ambler quilt hat. I like to be making this like in the early fall. I already made one of these. I actually didn't take any pictures, or wait, maybe I did. Yeah, I did make one, and you can see here it is on a balloon. And here's kind of a bad picture of me wearing it. But it was a little bit too tight in the brim when I made it. I test knitted this pattern and I was just a bad tester. I didn't check that it was on gauge, and it was a little bit small, and it was fitting okay until I sewed the brim down, and then it was a little too tight. And so I have plans to actually size up in the brim and then size back down. I made a size youth, so I will make a adult small brim and then decrease in my stitches and make an adult or a youth cap of the hat, because the hat itself fit really well. It was just the brim. And I'm going to use the same main color, which is Knit Picks Capretta, that I dyed with avocados. So it's just a very nice, like barely pinky color that I love. And this yarn's so soft. It's got, what's the base? It's got some, it's 80% merino, 10% cashmere, and 10% nylon. So it's actually very similar to the cashmere fingering by Explorer Knits, and so I'm clearly in like a cashmere era. It's so soft and bouncy. So I'm gonna use this, and then I don't know what contrast color yet. I think that I want to make a variegated version. So we'll see. I feel like I have so many potential options right now, though, of what I could do for variegated versions, and I do have some other yarns that could look nice as a contrast that are like, a single color or a tonal. So I'm debating a lot, and I'm just gonna, when the time comes, see what's really striking me. But I know I want to use this Capretta yarn because it is so soft. Ooh, I was actually thinking that maybe if I have leftovers of this color, that these could be fun together, potentially. This is the LNT colorway from Explore Knits that I don't know what it is. I think it's in Bloom. But yeah, if I have leftovers after my doppio, maybe it could go into the hat, because the hat uses barely any yarn. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see when I'm making this. But yes, very fun. These, man, I queued these in December of 2023. I was trying to make a pair of socks every month in 2024, and so this was part of this. These are the Starflight by Allison Lutz. I have them in I think it's a Lina magazine, if not Pom Pom. I bought some magazines when I was at a local yarn store, and this was in one of them. Yeah, it's in a Pom Pom magazine. And so I'd queued yarn for this, but I'm not sure if I like the colors that I queued. So I'm gonna kind of see if I have extra of maybe the linen colorway. That could be really nice. And then maybe extras of like, I don't know. I have a bunch of purples that maybe if I have extras of, I could work with the linen or something like that to make the quilt socks. I think that they're really cute and fun, and it's a pattern I own, which I like. So I still want to make them, but they're kind of low priority. It's just when I feel like making a sock, this is a sock option. So keeping it in mind. Oh man, I forgot to grab my yarn for this, but so I also have the next thing on my queue is the mixed rib cami by Florence Miller. Um, I really like the shaping of this. I think that it's a beautiful piece and would be really nice to wear to school. It combines wide and twisted rib. Ooh, I'd have to work twisted rib. And I planning on using knitting for olive merino. I could actually grab the yarn, but I don't feel like it. So this is the yarn, a photo I have of it, and it is the colorway Wild Berries. It's just a nice pinky color. Do want to plan, do want to use it. I have 3 skeins of it. I'd actually originally bought it, well, because it was on sale at one of my local yarn stores, but I was planning on making the twisted rib top, I think that's called, twist loop top by Other Loops, which is still a really nice design. It's got like a lot of rib on it and like wider rib and has like a cable right up the middle. But her patterns are just so offensively not size inclusive. Like they go up to maybe like a 40-inch or like maybe a, I don't know, maybe 45-inch bust. Like they're really quite bad. And so I just don't want to knit her patterns because of that. Like I feel like it's not great and I wouldn't feel happy using her patterns and showing that off here, or giving money, because I feel like, come on, it's not that hard. So I changed to the mixed ribbed cami by Florence Miller, which is a size inclusive pattern, and I actually really like this pattern as well. I think that it might be better in the long term. I think the fit is a little bit nicer. I like that it's kind of boat necky. And I like the way she styled it with the trousers. I'd probably style it pretty similarly. So this has been on the queue for a really long time. Let's see, I queued it in October of 2023. I don't know when I'll make it, but the yarn's always there for me. So one day it will be that. The next thing I have is another design that I swatched in October and have not made, but this is something that I do plan on making, and it is this cool grid design. Oh my gosh, focus. It's hard to see that it's a grid, but there's garter stitch to kind of make a pattern that looks a little bit like a grid. This is similar actually to a pattern I saw at a commercial sweater I saw at a local boutique, and I thought, oh, I could probably do that stitch pattern. That would be really fun to make. And so I'm making it. So I do have the yarn already. I want to use Drops Flora and Concept by Katya Atenea. So this is a fingering weight yarn, the Drops Flora, and this is, I think, also technically fingering weight, but I'm working at like a lace weight. This yarn's a really cool blend. What are you? It's 42% wool, 40% cotton, and 18% cashmere. And so it's a lot denser than a normal lace weight yarn that I'd use, or like a fluff yarn. But it's got a really nice feel to it. And then working it with the Drops Flora in slightly lighter green. I really like the green it ends up with. Like I really like the color variety, the color depth in this. This is the color 95. I feel like it was like sage green when I ordered it, but color 95. And then this is color 16, and I believe it's called Pistachio, and it does look pistachio. So yes, I do want to work these up, especially because I have the swatch and want to knit it, but it'll probably happen in the autumn. So we shall see. We'll see. Next, I've got these socks, which I queued in January of 2024. Cool. These are just a really nice snowflake sock. I have like this skein of blue yarn that, yes, I could grab it, but I have a picture of it. So this is the yarn that I have. It's, a blue all over different colors. This was actually part of a swap I did with Adina Adina's Makes on Instagram. We were paired through the La Mercerie Winter Wishes winter sock swap. I forget what exactly they call it, but essentially they match you with someone where you send a sock quantity of yarn. And so she sent me this, which is so pretty. It's such a nice yarn. And so I want to work it up, and I think that working it up into these socks would be so fun because they're really cool socks. Like the snowflakes are so fun, but I just haven't yet, and that's okay. Okay, we're kind of nearing the end here. The next thing on my queue is actually a crochet project, which I thought like, oh yeah, I'll just do that in the summer. That'll be so fun and easy, work up so quick, and like maybe it will if I can be quick about it, but probably not. So this is, a bucket square, a bucket hat with granny squares. Pretty simple. Supposed to be able to use like 200 yards, which hopefully I have. The yarn I have is interesting. I got this yarn undyed, actually at a local yarn store, which has since closed down. Well, they're like a local craft store. It's called Fancy Tiger Crafts. And so it came in a jar with dye, and then you dyed it yourself in the jar. It was called immersion dyeing. And I did it with a friend, and so we both dyed a colorway, and it's kind of meant to look tie-dyed, so that's why there's all the white, is the dye style is made to look tie-dyed. And it was called, I forget the name of the colorway, but it's like it's a purple. I dyed it purple. And I was thinking of what I could use. This is a 100% cotton yarn. Thinking of what I could do with it. Wasn't really sure with one skein of DK weight cotton yarn. And then I thought that a bucket hat could be really fun. And so in a crochet project could be really fun. And so I do want to turn this into a crochet project of this bucket hat. I think it would be nice and a cute summer project. I don't know if I'm going to make it this summer though. I don't really know. I also know that this is 100 grams, and generally a DK weight yarn is 100 grams, but I also know, generally a DK weight yarn for 100 grams is about 200 yards, which is about what this pattern calls for. But I also know that cotton's a lot denser, and I wasn't actually provided any information about how many yards this has, so I'm just kind of assuming that it'll have enough. I guess I put that it had 400 meters, which is definitely not true. So we will figure this out. So I might just like cast it on and see what happens. Or if you crochet, do you still call it casting on when you start a new project? Let me know, because in my head, like the casting on is putting it on the needles. So is it like another term? I don't know. Let me know. But I would like to create the project at some point, but I don't know when. I don't know when. I also want to make another sample of the faux seams sweater. I only brought over the main color I'm going to use, which is this purple. This is again Denali Sock by Explore Knits. This is the colorway Woodruff. And then I have a bunch of other purple yarns that I'm planning on working with it as the seams. So it'll be like a nice kind of neutral purple as the main color, and then a bunch of different dark and bright purples on the different seams. So I think it'll be really fun. I again have 3 of these in Denali Sock and 3 of this color in Surrey Alpaca Lace, so that I can make the sweater and then make the seams in the different colors. So hence why I have all the purple yarn that I have, because I feel like I don't tend to knit with purple a lot, but I've been slowly collecting purple yarns for this project. So I would like to make this. I would like to make it maybe almost make a second sample while I am having the pattern tested, so that I can kind of knit along with my testers. I think that could be kind of fun and something to try as a technique for my testing, because I like to have 2 samples to show things off, but making 2 samples before I even open testing really delays my timelines for designing. So maybe it'd be fun to have a knit along with testers, and then I also have a whip that I can show certain things to testers if there's confusion or it's like fresher in my mind as I'm working on it. So I don't know. I'm going to try that technique, but I'm excited for this purple sample too. It might end up going to my mom because my mom loves purple, but I do think I would also like a purple project. So we shall see. We shall see. This pattern here, the Ignite cardigan, I have been planning to make for my friend Leah, who is actually who I just taught to knit. So she might make this, although it's in brioche, which is like a pretty intense technique. So I don't think she could work on it for the first year or so of her knitting journey. So I still might make it for her. We were planning on doing a swap, a craft swap. She does a lot of pottery and I knit, obviously. That's why you're watching me. And so we were planning on having her make us buttons, and then I'd make 2 sweaters and we would put the buttons on the sweaters, like, so we'd have opposite buttons and sweaters, so that, I don't know, it'd be like a cute little collab project between the two of us. We might still do this. She might do it instead. I don't really know. She actually already picked out the color of the sweater she wanted, even like the yarns and everything, but hasn't bought it yet. And I don't know where we stand with it, but she really liked this project, and brioche is really beautiful and it's kind of fun to work on. I really like brioche, so might still do it. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it'll happen, but I'll keep it on the queue for now, and maybe I'll ask her about it later. But it's kind of a lower priority right now because we're working on our doppios for a while, so I'm not going to knit her something else while she's knitting something. Like, no, I want the focus to be on her. Okay, we're nearing the end of the queue, so that's good. The next thing, I queued this in August of 2023. This is the cardamom sweater by Twin Knits, and it is such a pretty project. It is broken rib again. I clearly love broken rib. It also has a split hem. I love a split hem. And like, look at this shaping of the shoulder. That is so clean. Like, this is a beautiful project. And so I bought the yarn quite a while ago, in probably June or July of 2023. This is from Zakami Yarns. This is their Surrey, so it's 75% Surrey, 25% silk. The color is the Akashic Records, and it is beautiful. I don't know why I'm holding it like a fish, but it's a beautiful, beautiful Surrey. And then I'm going to hold it with a Knit Picks palette color. It's just called Almond, and so it's just a brown. It's like a beigey color, so it'll be nice to hold it. It'll be pretty subtle with it, and it's gonna be so pretty. The reason I've kind of held off on this is I keep really wanting to test knit for Laura Penrose, and specifically she has this one design that I really love that has not made it to test yet, but right when I was going to cast this on in October of 2023, she showed it, this pattern, and then I was like, oh, maybe I could use this yarn for that. And so I haven't then worked on it. I then haven't worked up the cardamom sweater because I was waiting to see if maybe I could test knit the this project by Laura Penrose, but I don't know. I don't know if it'll happen. But this is the sweater that she made that may one day become a design, may one day not. But it is so pretty. But yeah, 103 weeks ago she showed this, and it's, you know, a beautiful, beautiful pattern. I think that this yarn would look beautiful in it. It would also look beautiful as the cardamom sweater though, so I think that I should just make the cardamom sweater in it because I think that that would be so pretty and nice. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it in the queue because it's so pretty, but it's very low priority. I will decide one day if I make it. And okay, our last thing on the queue, oh my gosh, like an hour into filming, is the Pressed Flowers kerchief. This is by Amy Christoffers. It is a free pattern. You can, I think buy it here? No, it's only free on Hobby, and it's nice. On the Hobby website, you can download a PDF, so it's a free pattern where you actually don't have to like stay on a web page. So I downloaded it a while ago. It's a DK weight. I made a pair of pressed flower socks before, and I really like the motif. I like mosaic knitting. You're only working with one color at a time, and you get the pretty little flowers on the edges. I think that's really cute. You know, they're wearing it here as like a little bandana thing or like a neck kerchief. I like it kind of tied behind. I think that mostly I would just make this to make it, because what I'd want to make it out of is yarn that I'm currently spinning. And so I've spun up one of these yarns. This is, I don't fully remember the fiber blend, but this is a fiber I got that has a lot of different things. One of the things is Angora. Some of it is like merino wool. I think some of it had Romney. There's some Stellina in it too. So it's got little like sparkly sections. So it's a very fun, and I'm plying it with this orange. So it's kind of like a cantaloupe. It's coming up a little bit brighter on camera, but it's slightly more of a pastel orange than you're currently seeing. But yeah, I'm going to apply these together to kind of make a fun yarn that I'd use on the background color. Hopefully I make a DK weight yarn. We'll see. If I don't, I can work off gauge. It's fine. But yeah, I'm going to apply those together, hopefully make a DK, have that as the background yarn. And then for the like main color, I don't know what I'll do yet. I have some like beige yarn. It's like Drops Daisy that was left over from my stripe pipe that I could use for this. I think I have like 2 skeins of it, so I'll probably do that. But yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's like a really fun project. I just want to do it so that I can use my hand spun. And then this might just be a display piece. It might, because I'm not really a like bandana person. I don't know, you could maybe wrap it up in your hair or something. Like some people, yeah, are wrapping it in their hair. Some people mostly are wearing it around their necks. I probably am just going to make it to make it. And that is okay too. Like that, I just want to, you know, have it be the finished object like this, because, you know, I'm trying to see how people style it. And, you know, I could make my cats a babushka wrap, just like this person did for their dog. That could be really fun. But yeah, I just want to use my hand spun. So that's just a project for that. And so, okay. Yeah, that is my cue, but then I still do have a little bit more yarn that I can show you. And that yarn is quite a few things. So, well, and the yarn I have in front of me is, first of all, this is the colorway Spiced by Poppy and Spruce Fibers. It's Birch DK base, and I actually want to make another sample of a design, one of my designs, the Scone Run hat. So here's a picture of the Scone Run hat. I would like to make a all orange color of it, with probably like, I probably will make a one color bright speckled contrast brim that I can then flip in and out. But yeah, I want another sample of it in like an autumnal color, and then I can do the pumpkin embroidery, or I can leave it unembroidered. I might leave it unembroidered. I don't know. But yeah, I want to make another sample of the Scone Run hat. I've had this for a while. I was planning on actually doing it when I released the Scone Run hat, but I did not. I made a baby sample instead. But for this fall, I would like another version of it. So I have this yarn to knit that up, and it just hasn't made it on the queue because it's, I have too much going on up here and on the queue already. And then I also have this yarn. Well, this is fiber. This is from Little Fiber Co. It is a 100% American Rambouillet base, which is 20.5 microns. It's so soft. The colorway is Snowshine, and so I have 2 of these, and I want to spin it up to make a pressed flowers cardigan. I don't have the main color yarn. I'll probably use like a beige, and I might get it at Flock. We'll see. That's kind of one of the things that's on my list of potentials to get at Flock, but I do really want to spin this to make a sweater because one of my goals this year is make a sweater out of hand spun. And so I have those two. And then I also do have another 4 braids of fiber coming my way that I actually want to spin up and make another sample of this in. So it's like a really pinky color, and I think that I'd want to get like a bright green. So another sample of this mosaic sweater. That's not the pattern's name. There isn't a name yet, but I'm gonna make another sample of this with hand spun. Girl, like, the timelines are not timelining. That's gonna take forever to spin up 4 braids, ply them together, and then knit another colorwork sweater. And I'm just spinning the main color for that, and then I will get the contrast color in like a nice green. I might get it from Explore Knits. I don't know. But yeah, so that's also not on the queue, but could end up on the queue soon. So yeah, that puts us at 24 projects. And I thought maybe I'd remove something as I talk through everything, but I don't feel like I can really remove anything. I think these are all things I'd like to work on. I feel overwhelmed now, and I feel rambly. Hopefully this was fun to watch, and maybe you got an insight into like what is going on in my head all the time. I always feel like I look very organized because I don't have a ton of whips, but this is what's going on in my head all the time. So I don't have a lot of active whips, but mentally I have 24 whips because in my head I've already committed to all of these and I'm already working on all of them. So this feels like a little bit of self-exposure because normally in podcasts I'm like, oh, I've got my 1 whip or my 2 whips and that's what I'm chugging along on. But in reality, like, I've got a lot up here and my queue is miles long. And so yeah, feel exposed, feel stressed. Still after this, feel like I could get most of these done this year. We're halfway through the year. In the next 6 months, I feel like I could do most of these. I don't think that's realistic, but then I also don't think it's not realistic, so I don't know what's going on up here. But okay. All that being said, I'm gonna end it here. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for being here as always. Let me know how many things are in your queue. If you do use a queue on Ravelry, or if you're just casting on fully based on vibe, you're not project planning, just let me know. I'd be really interested to hear your thoughts, your plans, whatever's going on up in your head. Please share it because I just told you everything, every one of my thoughts about knits for the past hour. So would love to hear yours as well. And I'm gonna go clean up this mountain of yarn now, and I will talk to you again next week. Okay, bye.